came in, there was a park entrance, and as I move in, ranger station, you go past that, there's a little parking spot. That is the parking spot that I recommend for taking the trails back to 1, 2, and 3. There's only about 5 spots, maybe 6. So, you know, if you got a big group, maybe park over in this area, but yeah, if you're at 1, 2, 3, or even maybe 6, that is the parking lot to be. So I don't even know if these sites are going to be open for me to film. I'll find out when I get there. Maybe somebody will come across, think I'm crazy talking to myself. That would be funny. Let's go. Alright, so BP3 and Camper Cabin 1 are off to the left here. I'm going to take a quick look, hoping nobody's here and we can get this campsite. Alright, somebody's got it reserved and they're here. So I'm not going to creep on them. But pretty flat campsite. I've been here before. Not a lot in the way of hammock spots. I'll explain in a second. Alright, so I didn't want to intrude on anyone's campsite there, but B3, it's a little bit slanted on a hill. If you don't mind kind of rolling to one side of your tent or sliding down on your feet a little bit, it's alright for tenting. Problem with hammocking, and this is something I learned on one of my trips, I'll show some footage of that in a little bit, is that the trees are too far apart for hammocking and they're huge inside that campsite. I mean, you could maybe go up the hill into the brush and stuff and maybe like hammock over that, but I mean, yeah, it's not good. It's not great for hammocking, and it's alright enough for tenting. It's not going to be as good as 2 or 1. I have booked, I think, number 2 before, but not 1. I'm going to go check out 2, see if anyone's there. Otherwise, I'll just bring some footage up from my previous trip. Otherwise, we'll go to number 1, see if those guys are in yet. Check-in's at 4, and I'm here at 3:30, but you just never know. They could have been here the night before. Alright, heading into number 2. Crossing my fingers. This one's a good campsite. Alright, 2 is empty. I'm going to show you guys this one. 1 is not empty, and there's people over there right now, so I'm going to just do that one from a distance. We've got lots of trees in number 2, and by lots I mean like you could hang a hammock just about anywhere. When I was here a couple of years ago, I hung one from there over to that tree hanging over there, but there's just so many spots that you can hang. The ground is flat. You can pretty much put a tent anywhere. Just keep an eye on the wind, so you don't put your tent downwind of a fire, because the fire pit's kind of in the middle. Got a food box, got the table, they all have that, and the view is pretty cool. You are on a peninsula here. There's even little trails down to the lake if you want to go fishing. Alright, I'm going to do number 1 from afar. That way I'm not invading, creeping people out. It's bad enough I'm going to be recording in their direction. Alright, you can see all the trees over there at number 1. You got your campfire ring, and your table. It's definitely up on a hill a little bit, so maybe some slanted ground. Kind of a bridge heading in there. Looks like camping up on the hill might be the best spot, but definitely some trees in there for hammocking, and I'm going to give it a green for tents as well. Looks like there's plenty of space. I'm gonna head back and just show you number 3 for a second again too, and how there's a slight slant to it. I'm gonna do all this from campsite 2. Again, not creeping, just showing. There is, with a perfectly level camera, that campsite has a slant all the way down. And the trees over there are very mature and kind of hard to get a hammock on. I wouldn't say impossible, just bring big straps. Alright, so if I'm pulling up here, pulling around from the road, it's going to come up. I'm going to be at this much larger camping ground parking area. This is where the primary group sites and maybe even B1 through B5 would park overnight. Off to the right as you pull in, there's a solar powered well. There's a sign, scavenger hunt, scan it, do it. Out of order. Even in the future, nothing works. Let's turn around. Group campsite 1, whitetail, whatever you want to call it, is right there. Let's go see it. Alright, so we got the G1 campsite. Also the trail to go to B1 through B6, technically still. But 6 is closer to that south campsite. So here's G1. Or group campsite 1. It's got its own privy over there. And more space than you can think of. This is a true group campsite. I feel like the people that get the spot right here next to the privy get the short straw. If the wind's out of the right direction, or wrong direction. Okay, we got lots of tables, lots of space. That's 1 fire ring and 2 fire rings. Again, still looking at a lot of empty space. A lot of good flat space. Overlooking a pond. And then the lower side with a lot of flat spots here too. Alright, so Whitetail is pretty cool. Now we're going to go check out Oak Hill. This one does not have campsites directly off of the bathroom. It also overlooks a pond. Very decent sized pond there. Alright. So they've put some kind of a P-rock or something in here. Got some fire rings. This is a slightly more slanted campsite. I wouldn't say that there's as many flat campsites as Whitetail, at least on this half. So like toward the parking lot, it's like I could camp there. I'd probably be comfortable. Looking for like if there's a hammock or anything. I mean, those are pretty thick trees, but maybe if you had big enough straps, you could use that and move that table. Definitely more for tents. Now these are really, really flat spots right here. Somebody even left some firewood. How about that? So kind of 2.5 fire rings versus the 2 at the other one. And then lots and lots of space for a large group to camp. I'll have to look at the regulations, but I'm guessing you could fit 20 people in here. Based on the trees though, modestly hammock friendly even for a big site. Maybe even because it's big. That's a neat little flat spot over there. Kind of off the path. Alright. You could hang a hammock between this tree and that tree. You could hang some, maybe this, cutting it close on the size on a couple of those. I've also found, whatever that is. Alright, so I'm actually leaving out on this trail up the back of G2, overlooking the pond, and there is, off in the distance, number 6. If you are looking for peace and quiet, and you go to 6, you might get it, you might not, it depends on who's here. Let's go take a look at it anyway. Alright, coming in on number 6. You are right on the pond, which could have its benefits. I'm not sure if there's fish in there. It might be deep enough. There's definitely turtles. In fact, that's kind of the turtle crossing area right over there. So you're not too far off the road. Food box, trail. Depending on how far you want to go out, you could have a little hammock spots. There's definitely one kind of right there. I wouldn't cross the trail. You got some potential trees in the back. Again, walking path. Crossing that might be a bad idea. It might also be a deer trail. But there's definitely potential outside and inside the campsite for some hammocking. Quick distance here. That's not even 10 feet, so you'd have to come off of this tree to something a little further away, like that guy in the middle of my site. Definitely slanted here at B6 on the back end, but it looks like people have not been afraid to camp it before. Here's an idea of how slanted it is. Just look from right to left, I'm level. And it does slant down. The area near the firing is pretty flat, but you know, you don't want to camp too close to the firing, at least if you got a fire going. So I wouldn't say this would hold 10 people, maybe 5 or 6 comfortably. You could get some people back here though, if you wanted. And then of course, anyone with a hammock, you kinda have your choice here. Some of the trees aren't quite big enough, but you could hang 2 or 3 in here. And that group site is right up there at the top of that hill. That's Oak Hill group site. I think the one bonus to B6, true bonus, is your own privy. You ain't sharing. I didn't call you Sharon. Surely you didn't say that. Stop calling me Shirley. But yeah, you got your own privy, your own trail. Not bad. Alright, we are now at the parking loop for the other campsites, and we're going to head over and around to 7, 8, etc. It's been a very downhill walk so far. I haven't really had any ups since I left the Nature Center parking lot. It's a very easy walk to B17 / 16. 17 and 16 are next to each other. 17's got a neat little swamp back here. You get frogs a-croaking. They're mighty happy today. So it's a balmy 85 degrees here on April 5th. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. This is crazy. Also, my brother, Mike, and his wife, Leah, had their first kid yesterday, or 2 days ago, on what would that be? The 3rd. So their birthday is 4-3-2-1. It's blast off time. Wishing them the best. Can't wait to meet little baby Emma. And yeah, wish I could go to the hospital. It's not like it used to be. You know, you used to be able to stop up, say hi, all that. Not anymore. Alright, let's take a look at where I am. You are here. Time to go to 17. Alright, B17. Here we go. Got the lake off in the distance. If you want secluded, this is the first one. Doesn't get more than this. Maybe B4, B5. Decently flat, got a fire ring. We got a flat campsite right next to the food box. I don't think that's much for camping space over there, but it might be. There's a trail to the latrine here, so wouldn't camp on that necessarily. And then you've got nice flat space here as well. Analysis for tents, pretty stinking good. Hammocks, let's take a look around. Maybe back in there, there's a little brushy though. I wouldn't do it on a trail. That'd make everybody upset, especially in the middle of the night. Woodpeckers have been getting after quite a few trees in here. That is a widowmaker for sure. I would not camp anywhere in there. A little jay breaking on the distance. I don't know if you heard that. Alright, so hammock wise, B17, you might be able to finagle one in here, but it's probably going to be tricky. But I would say tents are great for B17. Alright, I'm on the path for 7 through 16. Alright, so off in the distance there is Slough Lake. Slough. Take your pick. I think it's Slough. This is a non-reserved campsite, so I'm just going to let myself right in. Leaving is quite the cool looking view. Alright, B16. Walking in here, definitely a nice little tent pad over there. Another flat area over here. It's already getting an A+ for me, over by the fire ring. Don't camp there. So, you definitely got a good spot there. Potential hammocking there. Definite hammocking over there. Maybe if that tree's big enough, I'm not sure. This is beautiful for tents. Absolutely beautiful. Latrine is back there. Okay, so A+ for tents. Hammocks. It's like young and old. Like, I need a young tree and an old tree. I think you might be able to get away with some decent trees here in a few years, but just not now. For the record, the camera is perfectly level, and every single tree is leaning right here. Not sure why exactly, but it is a little bit off-putting. Makes me feel like I'm the one that's off-kilter. Alright, so 15 and 14 are kind of, they share a privy. Privy's back in there. So when my wife and I came here, we stayed at 14, which is up on a hill, and so is 15. They both overlook Maria Lake, not Lake Maria. Two different lakes. Maria Lake's also known as Bjorkland according to the map, and then Lake Maria is Little Mary Lake, Also known as Mariah, but not Maria, even though it's Mary. Fun fact. 15 is flat, and it overlooks Mariah Lake. Flat, flat, flat. Look at this flat. I'll go come out to the edge of the site so you can really see what's going on here. Really the best tent spot is right here on the edge. And then we've got tree to tree. I've hammocked there before. Actually, my wife slept there. And the only place that I could find a hammock was from here to there. And it was a stretch. It was a real stretch. I got 4 inches of rain the night that we were here. Absolute meteorological strangeness. They couldn't explain it. It just funneled over us. We were so lucky. It wasn't even supposed to rain that night. We got 4 inches. Looks a little tight back there. But definitely can camp there, can camp there. It's a great site. Moderate again for hammocks, great for tents. Now, if I look down at B14, B14's got somebody in it. They're going to be here for a while. So, best I can do is say hello to B14. Assume it's as good. Looking at the trees, it looks about the same. Everything seems to be old growth and young growth. Very little moderate growth in these sites. So again, I'm skipping 14, heading on over to 13. I'd also like to note while I'm here that 14 is one of the first campsites to book every time. So it's got to be a good one. I wish I could tell you more about it, but I really can't. Again, not invading any privacy or anything. So, yeah. If I could come here, I got a tent, I'd probably book 14 first. It's got the best view. I'll be back for UB14 someday. B9 is cozy, but it's good. We got a nice tent space over here. We got another one over there. 2 decent sized tents, probably 3 or 4 person. Could easily post up in here. Hammock wise, I mean, maybe from that tree to that one, or that one to that one, or both. Sorry, this one over here in the center. Privy's up there, it's probably shared. And that's about it. So, good for hammocks, good for tents. Cool. So again, that was B9. B9, solid B9, solid. Just down from B9 is B10. B10's got an uphill climb to get to the site. Let's go. Hopefully I'm not panting by the top. I mean, I'm not. I'm a little out of shape though. It's April. I spent a winter indoors with my kids. Little outdoors here and there, but hey, you know what? COVID winter, I think, is the biggest weight gaining winter of all time. That's why you gotta get out. You gotta enjoy nature. And oh, by the way, the side effect is you're moving, and if you're moving, hey, you might lose some of that COVID weight. That's what I'm talking about. Alright. Why do you think I'm out here? 10. So this is not flat right like in here, but slight slant across the site. It's really flat over by there, by the food box. Like, pretty nice. Wouldn't camp by a fire ring. I say you could easily get a tent there, another one here, but it's on a slight slant. Maybe a third one here, but you're blocking the path to the privy. That shared privy between 9 and 10. Let's Let's zoom back really quick. Now at the back of that large tent space, looking for hammock places and trying not to have the wind hit this thing. If I didn't want to block a latrine path and I wanted to camp in a hammock, maybe from here to here, and that's about it. Not the best for hammocking, pretty good for tenting here at B10. Let's head down the hill and back to the next one. Up the hill, we're going to do 13, then 12, then 11. Just kind of the way that it works. 13, then 12, then 11. I'm about there. Alright, it looks like 11, 12, and 13 are also sharing a privy, in case you were wondering. Let's check out B13. Looking up, there are not any widowmakers. There are great campsites. One, two, maybe one between the trees. It's flat in here. Lots of little worm spots. Worms have been coming up. If you need to go fishing, come out during the rain, I guess. So, better view back on this stump. There's definitely a wood campsite. You don't see any lake from here, but don't let that deter you. You definitely have a hammock spot from there to there. One from here to here, one from there to there. This is decent. You might have muddy stuff. There's lack of leaf litter on the actual campsites, but I'd say an A for tents and an A for hammocks. Just bring slightly larger straps. Why did I zoom in? I was looking for a squirrel. Here we are at B12. B12. Looking over at this side here, we got firing, picnic table, flat, 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 flat. I mean, this looks like you might be able to put a tent here. It's very slightly slanted. The wind is kicking up. Wonderful. This looks acceptable. Also not a mud pit, which makes it nice for tents. Okay, that's super flat. We got a dirt spot here that's crazy flat. Little rock here though, and then a little dent here in the middle that may deter you from choosing this spot. And then it looks like somebody was just here in maybe a 2-person. You could fit that in there. I wouldn't go 3. It looks like it's maybe a little too small for a 3. So pretty good. I don't know, maybe a hammock back there. That's about 10 feet. That's tight for a hammock. If you got super big straps, you could do one from like that tree to that tree. That's probably about 12 feet right there. You could also go to the big tree. That's about 16-ish. So you got options, but you need big straps. Tents, good. Not the best. Not the best I've seen. Maybe a smaller group, maybe 6 or 7 people. Maybe a hammock or 2. Here we go, B11. It's probably the most pleasant walk into a campsite we've seen. Again, if you want quiet, this is at the end of the line. It's not anywhere near the lake, but it is secluded and it is big. First impressions here at B11 are big, really big. There's your food box. You got spot for a 3-person. I wouldn't put anyone in the entrance here. There's even a rock you wouldn't want to mess with. But then you've got enough space for a large tent, like a 6-person. And then over there, you got room for a 3. You could clear those logs out and make it room for a 4. you've got more space over there and more over here. So this is a large, flat, spacious campsite that also has 1, 2, 3, though I wouldn't put my hammock across the latrine. Up looks good. 4, 5 hammock spots, maybe a little bit back there, but they say, you know, generally stay in your campsite. This is the best campsite that I think there is here so far. If you want space, it's not going to rain. It could get muddy if it rains, but it'll drain right away. I'd say B11 is your star campsite so far for Lake Maria. It doesn't have the best view, but it's got the space like you wouldn't believe, and lots of flat space. As a west-looking view, similar to what 8 would see, looking over Maria Lake. The entrance to 8, little downhill walk. Lots of medium and old growth trees on the way down. Looks very secluded, very relaxing, and very my style. Not sure if it's your style or not, but that's a good one. I wish I could tell you how good. Oh, here we go. I can see it better than you can. I'm not going to zoom in and creep. That is a flat campsite. So I'm making an assumption here that number 8 is probably similar to 11 in a lot of ways. Again, without creeping. Alright, gonna do the last haul. Gonna head up to B7. Check it out. It's reserved for 3 days. I don't know if they've been here for a while, or if they just got here, or if they're on their way. So, if there's nobody there, we'll check it out in detail. Otherwise, we'll do it from afar. You'll have to take my word for it. Let's go. B7 is the only one this way. Notice, horses May 1st through November 1st. Be ready to dodge landmines as they come, if you're coming here in the summer. Alright, so B7 should be out there. There it is. So, somebody's here. If you go down a hill and up a hill, then walk across a peninsula, over there, and down a hill, and then up a hill, you can see that green tent. I'm not going to zoom in any further than that, because again, I don't want to be that guy. But it's secluded and it's on a hill, so if you get rain, hey, you won't get flooded, that's for sure. You got a table and a fire pit, of course, and then it looks to be some decent space. I'd say B7 is, well, it's completely surrounded by grass. Bring bug spray if you come to this one, but that's about it. It doesn't get any more secluded and private than that. one campsite between me and my dinner. B5. It's a very easy campsite to get to. Nice campsite. Alright. This has got space and it's got water. There's a trail over here. It goes over to the privy, which is just off to the right. And then it's space, space, space. There's a trail down there. People might be getting water or fishing or something. Not sure which, but if we back up here, we've got a couple spots for nice sized tents over here. Still got your fire ring. You could put a tent over there, but it's really slanted and lumpy. Over here, a little slanted as well. Hi, food box. And then over here we got another site. Also very level, not rocky or anything. So all in all, this is a good site for tents. As far as hammocks go, I mean, gosh, if you wanted to, if you weren't too afraid of brush, you might be able to go there. Oh, you don't want to go toward the privy. Don't do that. Maybe between the big tree and the little tree if you got a smaller hammock. But overall, this is a very tent-friendly site. Not very friendly for hammocks. Sorry, guys. Here comes campsite B4. B4 is a lovely campsite sandwiched between a swamp and a swamp. Alright, B4. You can tell somebody wanted to make this campsite happen. This one is off the beaten path so much they had to put in a little bridge. It's a great tent site, not gonna lie. It's great. It's definitely one of the larger sites. This rivals 11, officially. And there's even a spot for a hammock right there. Oh, thank goodness. We got one, we got two, and we've got maybe a third spot if you want to sleep over a stump. This is wonderful. Little slanted, could get muddy down in this area. Off to the right as you come down. But you're high and dry up here. You even got a little sand. Might be able to avoid the muck. And a nice spot over there as well. And then for some reason there's a trail. I'm not sure where that's going. So, home sweet home. Campsite B4.